Quirky Bootless News. Tantrana.
Social media app Threads Meta's new Twitter alternative has seen a nearly 70% decline in the number of daily active users since its July 7th peak, according to market intelligence firm Sensor Tower. Spoiling their explosive launch just 2 weeks ago and paling in comparison to Twitter, the social media giant is trying to dethrone. Dun-dun-dun-dun, was this to be expected? Or is this a shock? Or was this to be expected? Throwing it now to Adi. Go.
Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Quirky Bootless Project with me and Nikhil. And today, if you didn't actually understand what Nikhil was saying, we're talking about threads.
Dun-dun-dun.
Yeah, so this time we're talking about current events or threads versus Twitter, basically. And it's a discussion where, even though we both have points which are for and against threads, I guess, we will be trying to put them through to the other person because we usually can't. On
Yes,
anything.
we're bad at debating each other because we just call each other stupid and then fury leave the meet.
Yeah, and then we call the guest, and then the guest agrees with me, and then Nikhil just fury leaves.
Oh, that happened one time. Shut up. No, but basically the point of today is to decide whose side you on are.
Yeah,
You are
you
on,
are on.
for the boxing
Basically,
match.
we're trying to give you some points so that you yourself can decide if you choose threads or Twitter, or if you're just like, nah, I don't like this shit. You know.
No, but Adi, basically whatever side you decide to be on, if you're for threads or for Twitter, that basically is who you're betting your money on for the Elon Musk versus Mark Zuckerberg boxing match.
Why? Wait, what?
Yep, it's your prediction now.
Also,
If that ma-
it's
if that
probably
match
gonna be
happens-
Zuck. I'm just gonna be honest. It's probably gonna be Zuck. I think he's a
But
blue
dude,
belt.
Yes, he is, but Elon Musk is built like a fridge. He has like
Yeah,
a
okay,
100-pound
yeah.
advantage over
Bro,
him.
he's built like his own Cybertruck.
I
yeah, no.
swear, bro, he's built like one of the robots he's probably
But, like,
building,
still, but,
or
like-
probably is.
I still feel that Zuck has the upper edge in terms of martial arts.
Sure, but Elon Musk has the upper edge in terms of tackling that midget to the ground and just sitting on him.
So clearly you can see how I know more of martial arts and Nikhil's more of a wrestling person, if you haven't noticed yet.
Oh, that had nothing to do with anything. Adi, you know I destroy you at whatever form of fighting we choose to do. Like,
Bro,
what
we had
choose,
that
we
pillow
can't
fight
stop.
once. You got scared and started making noises.
I don't think you want. Do you want to clarify or do you want to leave it at that?
Let's talk about threads.
Okay.
Yeah.
That, I mean, I'm never gonna forget that pillow fight. But yeah, go ahead.
Right, so I mean we can just get into the discussion. So basically if you haven't heard, if you live under a bridge or if you are the bridge, basically the Threads is like this new sort of Twitter formatted social media which is made by Meta or Mark Zuckerberg, and that's why we said Mark Zuckerberg. And then Twitter, Elon Musk recently bought Twitter, not recently but and
A few months ago.
yeah, and so Elon Musk owns Twitter and Mark Zuckerberg owns the exact, I'm going to say it, maybe copy of Twitter called Threads.
It is a copy. The layout
Yeah,
is the exact.
honestly, the layout is the exact same, the UI is the exact same. So basically, yeah, so Mark Zuckerberg owns Threads and Elon Musk owns Twitter. And now we are pitting them against each other because they're going to do that in real life.
Oh, that's gonna be fun. But yeah,
Yeah,
no. So actually, you made my first point for me. I think
Yeah, I know.
Threads is kind of. I don't know, man. Because initially I was actually a big fan of Threads just because first of all I thought it was gonna be different. I didn't really know what to expect.
Right.
And second of all, I thought it would take off significantly because Instagram has like a way more users than Twitter. Like it's insane. Like they have 10x, 20x more users than Twitter, which
Right,
is-
absolutely.
I found surprising.
Yeah, but like one thing I see is that like in terms of like actual like current affairs or like how people operate on Twitter, like every major celebrity is on Twitter, you know, like
Yeah, sure.
politicians mostly operate on Twitter. Bro, Narendra Modi has a booming Twitter.
Politicians have to.
Yeah.
Politicians have to operate on Twitter because that's where they can put their takes. You can't really put your takes on Instagram.
Yeah, exactly. And so
That's
Twitter
why
was supposed to
Joe
be this
Biden
place.
Joe Biden is always saying stuff that like he's acting like he's not the president. He tweets like he's not
Yeah.
the president.
Yeah.
It's funny. Like it's time to ban assault rifles. I mean,
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
I mean, if anyone's gonna do it, it's probably you.
Accurate, actually. It's probably only him. Anyways, so
No,
what I was trying to
I'm
say
pretty
was,
sure there is someone else, but that doesn't matter. Whatever.
are you sure?
I'm
He's a
positive,
Democrat.
Yes, it is someone else. What
Okay,
does that
and-
do with anything, Adi?
Nothing. Nikhil, you have to pay attention. Okay. Point being, Twitter was supposed to be a place for like free speech. Something like I'm gonna say it, something like Reddit, because even on Reddit there's like this whole point of free speech, and even on Twitter there's this whole thing, right? And so, but what I've seen in the recent years, I would say not just months, is that has changed. Twitter has not become a place for free speech, but it's more of a toxic environment. And I think that's what Threads is trying to change.
For a very, I mean that
Yeah, exactly.
been
That's
for
what
a
I'm
very
saying.
long time.
For a few
So
years,
I thought Threads would work first of all because not many people are fans of Elon Musk's recent changes, especially Twitter Blue, which I understand why he's doing. He has to monetize somehow.
Yeah, that's
but
right.
because of it, there's been a lot of pushback against Twitter Blue, like the amount of tweets you can view in a day. I don't really use Twitter as often
Exactly,
as the
yeah.
average person, but it basically changes that some people could see as maybe a little oppressive. And the fact that Threads, so I thought Threads was coming out at a perfect time. Plus the fact that Thread was bringing, I thought, what would be a good fraction of the Instagram portion to it. It made me believe that probably with the Twitter going back to its old ways with more users and more hype. That's what I thought Threads was going to be. Turns out
Like-
it's literally the exact same as Twitter, and it's already died
Yeah.
down on its hype.
Actually,
It's-
no.
yeah, it's
There's
not
something
fun.
different. There's something different. So, about what you said of bringing Instagram, right? So, there was something smart that Mark Zuckerberg did while making Threads. So, what he said was, the earlier you on, the followers that you have on Instagram will automatically follow you on Threads when they make an account on Threads. So, you know what that means, right? So, basically, I could see it at least. I'm not sure about everyone, but on Instagram, every celebrity was so hyped to get on the Threads. Like they were like, I'm on Threads, follow me here, and all of that. Like instantly as it released. Like the day I woke up before that, everyone was on Threads, man. So like I was like, damn, okay, there has to be something behind it. I don't think every celebrity or every content creator, I would say, would just want to switch platforms immediately. But the whole point is that they get the followers, they retain those followers on Instagram, right? And so now they have another social
Yeah.
media platform where they have those followers. And that is why Thread worked initially. That's why the whole boom of people using it even happened in the first place, right?
Sure.
So yeah, so basically that's what the incentive was, and that's how it was different from Twitter, right? Yeah, that's what I want to say. Sharon?
Yeah, no, so I agree with you there. I just think, okay, so first of all, obviously it makes a lot of sense on paper why Threads would probably work, because first of all, you're bringing that immediate, people, like it or not, crave a certain sort of following on,
Yeah.
no matter where they are, they get high on the amount of followers they have, or when you see a new follower, like, oh cool, that's pretty cool. And bringing that Instagram immediacy to Threads obviously
Yeah.
would make it a little bit appealing. I'll be honest here, one of the reasons I joined Thread was, I mean, Twitter, I actually, look, Twitter is a very weird platform, and it's like Reddit. If you go too deep, it's horrifying. But if you skim on the surface, it's actually pretty fun platform.
Yeah,
to
it's pretty
use.
cool. I agree.
And
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So just like that, I thought, look, this would be exactly like Twitter, except I'd be able to reach more people with stuff that I say. And Instagram is not really a platform where you can just say stuff and have some takes and maybe think something that you think is funny, and you can post it and people might interact with it. That's not something
Exactly.
you can really do on Instagram.
Mhm.
But on Threads, I assumed that would be possible. But again, first of all, the immediacy of Instagram didn't generate for everyone, and I would say probably a third of the people who follow me on Instagram switched over to Threads, which is why, I mean, I can compare the numbers of how many people follow me on both
Right.
platforms, right? And so even though Twitter, I have a significantly less amount of following, I don't really care about how many followers I have. I just want to Twitter is a place where you're able to say stuff and people are able to interact with it no matter if they follow you or not, which is first of all great. And another great thing about Twitter that makes it a lot less boring than Threads is on Threads you have to follow people to see their stuff and see their tweets, right? Which is extremely different to Twitter. Like wrestling on Twitter, which I am a fan of, if you weren't aware from our 15 mentions of it in different
Unfortunate
episodes.
mentions of it.
unfortunate mentions, sure, I like it. But yeah, so I actually don't follow any, if any, wrestling accounts on Instagram, but I'm able to interact with that community, see really funny stuff and entertaining stuff that I wouldn't have normally and I won't get to see on Threads. And I think that immediately that spark just died down for people, which you can see on its first week. Threads had around 44 million people using, and now, as I said in my very professional start to the this episode, it's been a 70% decline. And it's a 70% decline, and it's now at around 13 million people in a daily active, and it's insane, which is I feel like just lends to how unpopular and frankly kind of dull Threads is and has become immediately. I got bored of Threads immediately.
Okay, so I have something to counter that, and I think what you were trying to say this entire time was that the community that already pre-exists on Twitter is planning on staying on Twitter. They're not going anywhere, and they're not going to Threads especially, right? And that's why you probably don't see as much content on Threads as you would see on Twitter. Because on Twitter, there is already an existing base of consumers or whatever, whoever makes the content. They're probably already on Twitter and they already have like a booming account and they have like tons of followers already. And they might not have such a big presence on Instagram because, again, Twitter and Instagram are very different. As you just said, like they are very different. You can't openly put your thoughts through on Instagram. Like there's no feature on Instagram, I would say, that like perfectly made for you to put your thoughts through other than like a story, which can be easily skipped on, right? But on Twitter, it's pretty much different because the people over there actually reply. And it's not something that's more of like sharing your own personal experiences or sharing your own personal life. But on Twitter, it's more of just, post there. I'm going to comment on that.
It's a lot more interactable, I would say.
Yeah, it's a lot more interactable and like the whole community is much different there, which does not exist on Instagram and thus does not exist on Threads. And that is why you can't see wrestling content, I would say, on Threads as much. Right? That's what you said?
Sure. Not just wrestling. I just feel like there's way more of an... Like, if I open Twitter right now and I open Threads right now and do a comparison, I'll see way more interesting stuff. Because normally you don't really follow accounts that post... I don't really follow accounts that post entertaining stuff on Instagram.
Exactly.
Really
so that,
the purpose of Instagram for me. For instance, I follow stuff like Bleacher Report and OneFootball, which is... they post genuine, like, facts, right? They post stuff that's going on in the football community. Whereas on Twitter, if I go, I'll be able to see Troll Football, which is an account I follow and really enjoy. And a lot of United Trey, which is my guy because I'm a Man United fan. Stuff like that I wouldn't get to see, and because of that, in Instagram and Twitter are very easy to compartmentalize differently. Because they're such different platforms and they serve their own functions, which I'm fine with. But when you open Threads, something that's supposed to be that alternative to Twitter, that I'm open to trying, it means that you have to differentiate yourself in some way. And when I look at Threads, first of all, it has the exact same layout as Twitter.
Right.
And I would argue with less fun colors, which is already a negative. And second of all, I don't see... Okay, I'm going to put this as bluntly as possible.
Exactly, you're right. Yeah.
I don't
you don't have to.
Point.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, there isn't a customer base already on, or like there isn't a producers base on Threads right now, and that's why, like, from a consumer perspective, like personally, I really don't use Twitter or Threads that much. Like, I use Twitter, but I don't even have a Threads account, and the major reason for that is point number 2, which is like not exactly why I'm against it, but it's some shady shit that Meta's pulling, is that Meta decided that they wanted all permissions on Threads. And once you make an account on Threads, if you delete it, your Instagram account goes with it.
Yeah.
And that is the shadiest shit I have ever heard. And that is something that even if I installed it, I would instantly delete the app for. Because on Threads, they are getting all of your information. And Meta's really bad with information in the past. If you didn't know, go search up the Great Hack or 2016 election, like that whole Facebook thing. That was a huge, huge data leaks and whatever Russian hackers. I have no idea what it was exactly, but it's something like that. And it was because of Meta's irresponsible handling of data. And on Threads, they're asking you for all of your data basically, okay? And so that is why I think a lot of people like me who knew that fact were just like, okay, this is shady, and we're just not gonna make an account on this. While Twitter doesn't really do that, right? And yeah,
I don't think it was Russia, by the way, but yeah.
no, it was the Russian thing. Yeah, no, it was the
British
Russian thing.
consulting firm.
No, it was Cambridge Analytica. So I watched The
Yeah.
Great Hack. It's on Netflix. It's a really good documentary, by the way. But so Cambridge Analytica is something that is like a company that handles data and all of that. And so what the controversy was that in the US elections, there were like these Russian hackers. Like it's said to be that Russian hackers invaded the US election and changed it up a bit and then sent ads to people going like, you should have chose Republicans and all that. That's what it was.
Right.
So yeah.
Right. So, no, I agree with you there. This is a point I'm trying to make. I don't know this. So I can see, first of all, obviously it's impossible to have a niche on a certain social media when you have that many viewers. But I can
Also,
see
you're a
exactly
consumer,
the
right?
purpose.
You're saying like the
I'm a
average
consumer of
consumer
both.
on both
Sure,
platforms,
I-
exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. I
So
would
that's
say
your
I'm the
perspective.
average. I mean, I've deleted Instagram now, but yes, I have been the average consumer of Instagram and Twitter for a good 2.5 years now, right?
Right.
And I just think, first of all, that Instagram is for people to be able to catch up with people, see what's going on in other people's lives. It's for that, which is fine. Twitter is to interact with people that you normally wouldn't. It's to see entertaining stuff that you probably wouldn't know about, and
Entertaining.
basically stuff that gets you more involved in whatever community you're interested in.
Exactly. Yeah, that makes sense.
Both of these extremely and Facebook is for old people, let's just say that. Then I know exactly what every single social media platform is. And okay, I'm just gonna add one more ad lib into here. Snapchat is for young people, and I mean I hate Snapchat,
Young
but
people, Snapchat in general is just weird, honestly. And like I like their
hate
concept,
Snapchat
and I like
so
how they're
much.
going into tech. But like honestly, no, that's not the direction we want technology to be going into. Snap AR or whatever goggles they had, that's a scam. Please don't invest in that. Anyways, go on. Sorry, I'm sorry.
Yeah, whatever it is. I just don't like Snapchat in general. I don't
Same.
like their features. They're basically,
Same.
in my opinion, a knockoff of Instagram, but
Same.
whatever, it's fine. So, no, I'm just saying every single successful social media platform has some kind of market. Threads is marketing to people who are disgruntled by Twitter, but it's nowhere near as interesting or interactive as Twitter. So I just feel like it's gonna get lost in the shuffle of social media that feels like it should have worked, especially with the amount of market, the disgruntled Twitter market and the Instagram market that doesn't use Twitter, which is a lot of people. It's targeting a huge market. You think it caters to someone, but it caters to absolutely no one. If I hold on, actually, let me open Threads right now. I have it on my phone for some reason.
Okay, but one thing before you say that, I just wanted to ask you a question which you can answer in your further, like when you open Threads and all that. Don't you think so?
Sure.
Moving on from what you said, not moving on, but like adding on. When you said that you don't have a place to put your thoughts on Instagram, right? But what if it was something personal? What if you want to add something? Yes, that's Reddit. But like, let's say you don't use Reddit, okay? And instead you have everyone on Instagram that follows you following you on Threads already. So wouldn't you want them to reply to you on Instagram because they follow your personal life? Clearly, people on Twitter don't, but
Sure.
people on Instagram do. And so if you wanted opinion or something like that, or if you wanted to put your opinion for people that you actually know, wouldn't Threads be the perfect place for that?
And you think so, right? First of all, I think, okay, this may be individual to me, but I only use Instagram to like basically catch up, see what's going on in people's lives, right? I don't necessarily feel the need to interact with every single person I follow or don't follow. I mean, or follow or who follows me on Instagram. I feel like for me, the purpose of Instagram is to just basically see what's going on in people, be a passive viewer of people's lives occasionally.
But you post
That's
too.
my opinion of Instagram.
But you post too, right?
I
And you
post-
put your opinions.
Sure, I don't on Threads. You mean or on Instagram?
No,
Do I
on
put my opinion?
Instagram, I follow you, man. I know that you put your opinion through on Instagram and you
Sure,
put.
yeah.
used
Yeah,
to put
sometimes
stories.
I talk about sports, but the point of, okay, so why I use Twitter, if I put a post on Twitter, it means I'm inviting absolutely anyone to interact with that post on Twitter. Because look, the point of what I do on Instagram, which is occasionally whenever my team is playing and I'm watching a sports game, I put pictures of updates for some reason.
Exactly, but
I
but
kind
but
of-
people don't feel like interacting over there. You're more like a passive viewer, as you said. But on Threads, it gives you
you'd
the
be surprised,
platform to
actually.
interact. Hmm?
No. So actually, on Instagram, it's basically just so I put on my stories so other people who I know are sports fans who are watching the game can reply to it if they feel like it, and we can have a conversation, right?
But exactly,
I
so
don't
that-
think that's. Yeah, no, but see, Adi, Threads is very different to Instagram. I use them for very different purposes. Instagram, I use to interact with people I already know. Twitter,
But you use
right,
it for
I
different
use-
purposes, right? My point is
Yeah,
that
but-
people, but
no.
I think the point of what Threads was meant for was that if you have like you already have a space of your people on Instagram, for example, it's like 400, 500 people. In that case, Threads, as you said on Instagram, you're a passive viewer and mostly you wouldn't interact. Like also, I know that some people do interact, but on Threads, wouldn't you have a more engaging discussion where some people could just add on, like in between, and there could be some replies here, some replies there, and wouldn't that be like a more engaging conversation for you, like on Threads? It's like a public conversation.
No, I see what you're saying. I get your point, but no, honestly, because the reason I use Instagram is to interact with people I already know in very certain moments. Adi, it's when I'm talking about very specific moments in, let's say, a certain game, like a certain Man United game is going on, or it's an RCB game is going on, or the Sixers or the Eagles. It's for those moments, right? When I'm talking on and that's all I do. My stories are
Right.
only
Yeah.
talking about sports stuff, right? And on Threads, I want to be able to interact in whatever I'm interested in. When you're limiting your audience to people, first of all, that you already know, and there can't be that many people who have the same interests as you do. Like wrestling, I don't know a single person who follows me on
Yeah,
Instagram
but like
that
that's
likes
not that's not what I
wrestling
meant.
more than
Okay, so like okay, look, for example, I use Twitter. I use Twitter. I used to use Twitter a lot actually, but what I used to see was that there are some accounts that are like personal blogs, right? Where they just put
Yeah.
every moment in their lives on Twitter. Like they just tweet something like every single moment. Like whenever they do anything or they see anything weird or like obscene or like something different, they'll just put it on Twitter.
Yeah.
But imagine if I wanted to share that to only my friends or only my space. Threads allows me to do that.
You see,
Twitter doesn't at all.
Threads okay, fine. Then that might be. I'm sure that might be the appeal for some people. And on Twitter, my main interactions aren't me tweeting. It's me replying to other tweets that have already chosen to start conversations and then continuing those conversations. So basically, I have a free ticket into that community or into any opinion that I want to interact with. Whereas on Threads, you can't really do that. At least with the people I follow, it's impossible to do that. Twitter is better, way better for that kind of thing, because in general, Twitter has been designed so that any person, big or small, could just put out an opinion, and because it's so established and because anyone can interact with those tweets, it just makes for a way more interesting experience, because you get hundreds and hundreds of conflicting opinions, and no matter how stupid they are opinions. Whereas on Threads, what I'm looking at is, first of all, only people that follow me usually are able to reply to that, because that's just how it is. Threads hasn't been established enough yet
Exactly,
to be
that's
that
something.
platform where people can come around and just have opinions, right? Twitter inherently has the tweets that
pre-existing
people
customer
put on
base.
Twitter. Yeah, sure. The tweets that people put on Twitter are just designed to start opinions and start conversations, which I haven't seen on Thread. That's obviously probably not Thread's fault. I'm sure they could do some more with the interactive design to make it more consumer friendly for someone like me.
Actually, no.
Sure.
I think here's where you're deviating from like what the actual purpose was. I think at least. So, look, for Twitter, exactly, the whole point is that you talk to the public, right? You talk to someone, a stranger, and you just talk to them about your opinion, and you have a discussion or like an opinionist conversation on Twitter. But on Threads, what if it was meant? I mean, I get that you don't have people like constantly upload, constantly online on Twitter or on Instagram or anything like that. But like, there are some people who do. Like, at least I know personally a few people that would constantly be online on Instagram, and if they had a platform like Threads, which they probably do now, I'm not sure if they use it or not. If they had Threads, I think that would be like, they would tweet about everything, like exactly the whole personal blog thing, and so they could interact with people even if it was a little personal. They wouldn't mind that because they're talking to the people they know.
Okay, but that's a very specific niche.
Yes, that is a very specific niche. Exactly.
Yeah, so I am the average. I'm talking about the average view. Sure, there's still
Exactly.
13 million active users on Threads. They could, that niche could be catered exactly to them. But that's not enough of a market when you're targeting disgruntled people who are looking to leave Twitter and the entire Instagram market that's left that doesn't use Twitter. That is
Agreed.
a very small portion of a very huge market that you're targeting. My point is, Twitter is so established for starting conversations that you can dive right into,
Yeah,
that it
because
is
it's the public.
inherently way more interesting than Threads, which you won't get much interaction off of. I think what killed Threads immediately was the fact that they didn't capitalize on what people want, which is, and the market, a very broad market. I understand trying to ape Twitter, and they did that in everything but its main function, which is the ability to start conversation with anyone. I've seen people be mad at people, you not only seeing stuff that you follow on your homepage, and it's a very fair concern. It's because once you go on to Thread, you have that expectation ki, okay, I am going to start a conversation that I would not have started if I had just stayed on Instagram, right? If anyone has that expectation, it's probably not going to happen off of something like a OneFootball or a Bleacher Report that some people follow. It
Right.
starts off
That makes
Twitter
sense.
opinion.
Exactly, but that's not what it was made for, right? You're forgetting that that's not what.
It doesn't matter what it's made for, Adi. What it's catering to right now is such a small chunk of the market, which is basically people who are extremely active on Instagram and are not active on Twitter, that want to be able to live stream their day or live stream a lot of stuff that's going on in their
That
life.
was just one
That's a
example
very
I gave.
small-
Yes, but that doesn't matter because that's what it was intended for. Do you understand?
Okay, TK, but then I'm going to say this very bluntly, as bluntly as I can. Whatever it was intended for is wrong, because for the amount of people that you are targeting, you cannot have that small of a cater. You cannot have that small of a portion of people that you are catering to. You have to make it NX more interactive for you to even have a shot at competing with Twitter. Because
But
despite
don't you
the
think
fact
that
people are still,
no? I mean, you basically said any company that is anything niche is wrong. Isn't
No.
that's basically what you just said?
Okay, hold on. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. This is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Threads was designed to be exactly Twitter's alternative. That's what it was designed for. If you want to do that, Twitter is a completely different social media. If you want to be the alternative to Twitter, you have to be as interactive, if not more interactive than Twitter. And to do that, that's not what Threads have done right now. Because when you're targeting, and I'm going to emphasize this, when you're targeting such a huge market, you have to be able to be that alternative without copying the layout. Actually, they could have made the layout and they could have made the design of the app itself extremely different, and
Also,
that would
no,
not have mattered. That would have just
but Nikhil,
that would have just helped with. Yeah.
that's not what they said. See, look, what they publicly said was, and I quote, "It's designed as a platform for real-time conversation sharing. Threads, listen to the whole thing. Threads aims to provide users with a similar experience to Twitter, but Thread prioritizes public dialogue over private communications, commonly known as microblogging, and is closely linked to
But
Instagram."
that's not what I'm seeing then.
That's not what.
That's just not what I'm seeing right now on Threads. On Threads right now, I am seeing more of the microblogging than I do on Twitter. On Twitter, you can see a relatively random person who's established a decent following in a certain community just tweet something and people go ape shit in the
Right.
in the comment section. And you used to use Twitter, yes?
Yeah, I do choose to. Yeah.
So then on Twitter, have you not seen even the smallest, let's say 1,000 follower account, tweet something and have it go big and have it start conversation that you're excited to be a part of?
It does do that. Of course, it does do that. But that's because Twitter
I would
has.
say that's
Go on.
I would say that's the point of Threads. I would say that's what Threads should be targeting instead of copying everything about Twitter except what it's supposed to be copying, which is its interactiveness.
What do you think that they could do that would make it much better, in your opinion?
Okay, so first of all, immediately scrap the only see people that you're following on the timeline. Immediately scrap that.
Yeah, okay.
Right? Boost accounts that you think, and look, there might be an algorithm for this, there might not be. I'm not smart enough to know, and I'm not experienced enough to know, right? But if there is a possibility that you can increase the engagement on something like 1,000 follower account that's starting to make waves in a certain community, if you can improve the engagement on those kind of accounts, it'll be way better for the entire community, because that means you're inviting more people to start that conversation, and you're inviting more people to tweet stuff and to let's say thread stuff, whatever, to thread stuff, because in hopes that they could also start that conversation, which is what I think the appeal of something like a Twitter or a Threads is. That's what I think they should do. And change the design, god damn it. It's literally the exact same as Twitter. It's weird as hell.
It is weird as hell. It's just a different color scheme. Other than that, it's pretty similar.
It's a worse color scheme.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, pretty much. And also, there's actually there's pretty much technically there are benefits, but what Nikhil said based on community is that Twitter has a pre-existing base of content in general, and so Twitter can thrive on that, while Threads has to make it itself, right? And so what, other than the technical things that Threads provides is better than Twitter, for example, longer post lengths, who cares about that, honestly?
Yeah,
extended video length.
Twitter offers 280 characters, which is more
and
than enough.
And the only thing that is actually an actual improvement is that it's integrated with Instagram. So people who are already on Instagram can, seamlessly put stuff on Threads and then put stuff on Instagram through Threads and all of that. And you can edit stuff. That is the only improvement in technical stuff from Threads. Other than that, Twitter...
Technically, if you take Twitter Blue, you can edit.
Yeah, well, if you pay them 6,000 per year, you can do the same thing.
Yeah. No, so yeah, that's basically it. But now I think it's too late, because I think people have already gotten bored of Threads. Because 70% decrease in a few weeks is no joke.
Right.
So I think at least that now it's a lot of the audience, like myself, that was interested in Threads from the get-go. I think they've lost it. I was super hyped. We were talking about this literally the day of the release. Me and you were talking about how excited we could and how different this could be, how this could change social media forever. It's not done that. It's a thing, and we
were naive.
It's never gonna. They had a real chance. Instagram affiliated stuff is the only thing I could have really seen being a competitor to Twitter. But I think they've messed up that chance pretty bad. I think they've dropped the ball.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, and other than that, that's what it is. Is there anything else to add to this? Because that's it. I mean,
I just think Threads dropped the ball by crazy.
It could have been big,
but it's too far gone.
It's too far gone. Yeah, and that's what we're gonna leave you with for this episode. It could have been big, but it's too far gone. Bye.